Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to another NRTS 1v1 cast. I'm your host, Leafy Potato Style. In the yellow on City Outskirts, we have sooooooo. In the blue, also on City Outskirts, Commandermonke. I believe he's AFK for the first, minute of this game, which is just the best. Competition. It necessitates handicaps. I think, as you'll see going forward in this game. I don't remember Commander having that great of a start, but he seems to be a stronger player than So all around. Anyways, I pretty much just woke up, got on. I've got a backlog of games to cast, so I figured I'd go ahead and do that. Had some basil pesto pasta, which that was pretty epic. Leftover pasta is pretty much always wonderful. I don't know what it is about pasta that just makes it great in the fridge. But yeah, this match was played as part of Saturday Smackdown, which is a weekly community-run tournament. You can join it through the community Discord that I have in the description. It's a fun time. Just come and hang out. I think the way that I pitch it is not so much that it's competitive 1v1 as much as it is just an exhibition of a game mode that you usually can't play in NRTS. So, you know, just hop by, chill, play NRTS in a new and novel way. Commander forgot this was a 1v1. This is epic commentary. I've got my tunes blasting in the background. This early game isn't too crazy. We've seen that So is towered off blue. It's the choke closest to his base, so rushes have to go through orange's base now, or over or around the tower. So's got 2 upgraded farms now. Commander's got a house going up. If I had to guess, they're floating a lot more money than just what they've spent so far, but, you know, spending it somehow is better than not spending it at all. I think in this case, I favor Commander a little bit. Of course, So has way more farms now than Commander does, which is a bit concerning. Commander's expanding towards red, I believe. Yeah, expanding towards red slowly, taking the farms at the city front between orange and green. Yellow's taken the 3 closest orange farms, so Yellow's got a huge farm advantage right now. Sorry, So I'm gonna try to get in the habit of using the players' names rather than the colors. Of course, in public lobbies, it's easier to call out colors because the player names are gonna change multiple times throughout a game sometimes. Man, French vanilla coffee hits different at 12:58 p.m. I said good morning earlier. I meant good morning. Night shift does stuff to you, man. So yeah, now that Commander's awake, he's actually consistently expanding towards red. So's decided that it's not worth trying to contest any of that. He's kind of just going on a journey with the single worker. I can't remember if he makes a tower at this choke or what. Yeah, he makes a tower. So you can see the choke between orange and green towered off. That pretty much necessitates that blue has to go through the bottom tower. Directly connecting him to yellow or all the way around the freaking map, which it's probably a better call if you're Commandermonke in this position. Probably not a horrible call to just say, okay, I'm gonna make helis, I'm gonna go fly around the waters of the map and then attack inland through there rather than having to attack through any static. That way I don't take any losses. Or if yellow's tower pressure remains the exact same as it has been. You know, just punch through very light static defense with vehicle tech. So blue's gone and upgraded his CC. He's got 3 houses now. Yellow's got a single house. He's upgrading his farms, expanding towards purple. Commander's finally continuing his expansion towards red. Seems like both players are a little bit tunnel visioned, but that's not a horrible thing necessarily. Most of these NRTS 1v1 games are going to be fairly tunnel visioned, where you'll have players focusing on a single task, single goal at a time, and or doing other things, because, you know, it's just a friendly session. Nothing on the line. No tournament standings or anything. But yeah, considering that yellow's farms are upgraded, yellow's still got an eco advantage. He goes ahead and makes another house and an air pad. So he's getting ready for heli harass, which, given his position, I think that's quite strong. Now you do have to go and get that done. Blue's upgrading his farms now, which is not the right time to do that. It takes 5 minutes to pay itself off. And yellow's got helis. You know, this first heli's gonna hit in like 3 seconds. And there it is. Does he make use of it? Thinking, yep. Okay. So now we have yellow who's got helis, blue who has no helis. Blue's got eco, he's expanding up towards red. I can't tell if he's thinking about upgrading more of his farms or if he's already upgraded them all. The city farm skin I don't like too terribly much because it's hard to tell if your farms are upgraded or not. Which didn't used to be a problem. You used to be able to just double click on your farms and then just spam C a whole bunch and you'd be able to upgrade them all that way. But now after you do that, it still only is highlighting your most recently upgraded farm. So it prioritizes highlighting the upgraded ones before the non-upgraded ones, which means that pressing C won't do anything. If I recall correctly, oh, he could have totally prevented that tower going up. He's got 2 helis out now. He's gonna pressure the tower with both of them. I think it goes down. Yeah, it goes down. Now these houses are gonna get shot at pretty much for free. If you're yellow here, you go and target the barracks. keep him from making any units to contest you. Now that it's up, it's gonna be a little harder to do that. Commander reasonably upset that there are 2 helis over his airspace. In fairness, he had plenty of time to see that yellow was going for them, react to that, make a decision, and implement it. Yellow in this position, crushing Eco League. He's upgrading one of his helipads. He's looking to get Hornets and fighters. Probably Hornets, since there's nothing else in the air to contest him right now. Building a second helipad to be able to continue production, or to scale up production. Of course, now Blue's got some, I think those are heavy troopers. They're the heavy troopers or soldiers. Which, they're, heavy troopers aren't very cost efficient in the slightest, but they are still a good unit. Like if you've already got heavy troopers, they're gonna pull their weight. They're just might not be as effective as $56 in anything else, but yeah, they're certainly tanky. They certainly hit pretty hard. They're pretty accurate. I don't think I've seen them miss too many shots. Of course, they're slower than helis, so you're not going to use them to stop helis very well. But as an ultimate late game or a very population efficient army, heavy troopers can do pretty good. The problem is usually you can't deny your enemies houses enough to be able to afford making an army that is mostly concentrated of heavy troopers until like 30 minutes in the game. And if you're 30 minutes in the game, you probably have vehicle tech, and at that point, it mostly makes more sense to just have a tank army sooner than to have waited so long and gotten heavy troopers. So if you're wondering why I might assert that heavy troopers aren't a great unit, it's not because their stats are bad, it's because their price is too high for their stats. If that makes sense. You have other units that can do a similar job to the heavy trooper that are cheaper, and thus you can get more of them. And so it just kind of balances out where their niche of being the ultimate infantry unit kind of just falls through the cracks. Anyways, Yellow's still going on a pretty successful heli harass campaign. If I were in Yellow's position, I'd make more helis. Straight, just don't bother with Hornet Fighter. Like, okay, maybe Fighter now as like Fighter heli support. Just because Blue's spamming helis now, but if you're Yellow in this position and you've had like the past 3-4 minutes to menace with helis, you know, just keep adding helis, be in multiple places at once instead of marauding with 3 helis in a little pack. Just go spread them around the map, go click them on different farms. Make the enemy play whack-a-mole. Make them focus on microing down your helis or otherwise dealing with your helis while you have complete, clear focus of attention. That's what I would do in this position. Strain their mental presence. Make it so that you're fighting someone who's not thinking, right? Or who's thinking about something else. That makes your job a lot easier, where you have your game plan and they're struggling to keep up with it. Yellow in this position's okay. He's deleted a couple of Blue's farms that have not been rebuilt. Blue does have a ground army. Not a great one, but he has a ground army. He's got helis. He's partitioning some of them around to go stop some of Yellow's light heli harass. Realizes that there are fighters in the area, escorting a Hornet, and is going to screw off. Thankfully, Blue noticed the Hornet fighter composition and decided to make a couple anti-airs, which just completely, like, look at that. Your ground attack's dead. You're a sitting duck. There goes another $84. And that hurts to watch every time. That is painful. That's $376 that just fell out of the sky. And Blue lost nothing, except like a farm. So now the skies are basically uncontested. Blue's got control. If you're commander in this position, you try to shut down Yellow's farms. He's got a lot of upgraded farms that are providing 13 eco each. If you can start destroying some of those, cool. So he clears up the heli that's in his territory. Probably wouldn't hurt to build a transport copter just to have some workers that can move around a little faster. And that can't be hit by tanks or any other ground units. Not that Yellow's making any ground units, but I believe transports outrun fighters. So at the very least, you can be slippery in that regard. You know, if Hornet Fighter can't catch up to you, then you're doing pretty good. Yeah, Blue's consolidating his forces. He's just building up. Yellow's gone and made a port. I believe this is a battleship that he's making, and he's trying to pressure Blue's houses that were built a little too close to the water. Blue is now moving out with some helis to go take out this tower, which you should successfully do. Now, if you're using helis to take out static, you do want to maneuver them around the static so that not all of the shots go on the same heli. Right, just spread the damage around. I can't remember exactly how much HP a heli has, but let's say it's 100, right? If this tower is going to do 200 damage to you, and you don't micro at all, then theoretically you're losing 2 helis in this exchange. If instead you micro it around, and let's say you have 8 helis. So instead of ending with 6, if you just make it so that every shot, or like every 50 damage, goes onto a different heli, then by the end of the fight, you have a couple damaged helis, but you still have 8 of them. It ends up making a bigger difference simply because numbers are a massive advantage in this game. You know, if you've got 2 more units than your opponent, then they are in a position where they have to take a good fight now. Like they have to have crushing superiority in formation or in defense or in unit composition. You know, having a couple extra units can very much change the dynamic of a fight. Anyways, Blue didn't lose any helis in that tower push, so no harm, no foul. We have a battleship now at the frontier of Blue's base, looking to get in range of something to start shooting away at it. We also have an aircraft carrier making some units, which is just wonderful. So if you're Blue in this position, you're like, okay, this is ridiculous, right? Blue has the helis that he could push this. He could push the fighter. I don't think he has enough helis that he could push the battleship. Okay, so Blue's losing houses. He's about to lose a worker if he's not careful. Sells one of the houses, so the splash stops. So yeah, Commander's probably just like frothing at the mouth here. He's like, okay, Yellow is in my base. Like, I've got an army. He's got a staticked off choke. He's got fighters, which means that I can't just go around and try to attack him from the side or from the ocean unless I can draw him out very, very, very far. Because, I mean, choppers outrun fighters, but that doesn't matter if the fighter's job is to defend the CC. Granted, Yellow has only Hornets at the CC right now, which means free food for choppers. But yeah, I think at this point Blue's considering his options. He's looking at his army. He's looking at the fortifications he's going up against. He's thinking to himself, okay, when can I kill Yellow? When can I push this? When can I destroy his fighters? Because I've got anti-airs, which will help. Like, anti-air chopper can trade okay against fighters. You have to kite the fighters hard with your choppers. Fighter chopper, fighter wins every time. Every time. It's not very close. But if you have some anti-air under the choppers, then if you're the fighter player, you're like, okay, well, if I'm over the anti-air and not shooting at choppers, then I'm just straight losing. So ideally, at any given moment, I want to be shooting at the choppers, but the choppers are faster than me, so they can slip behind. So then the ideal strategy is kind of what Yellow's got here, where you have towers. Now, ideally you tower creep, which is where you're building one tower in front of the other, or missile turrets in front of the other, so that you can have something that can shoot the ground units that might be approaching, trying to get a cheeky shot or two against your fighters. Or you can do what Yellow's doing now, which is make tanks. He's trying to make heavy tanks, I think. Yep, upgraded vehicle depot. Does he even realize? He's too busy making Blue mildly upset. Blue says, You're not gonna win by doing this. I agree. I think that Yellow's gonna have a hell of a time trying to actually win the game with this strategy. Now, if he could just have that destroyer there, or battleship rather. I don't remember why I looked at this player list. If you could have the battleship next to your aircraft carrier, you make a couple Hornets. I mean, he's got 4 Hornets at home. He's making a couple more units. I don't know if they're fighters or Hornets. But you make a couple more Hornets, and you could just run over that territory. You bring the fighters along with you. Not so much to soak damage, because the fighters are flying higher than the Hornets are. But to kill helis trying to intercept. And you can just dive the CC. Right? Like, the side of blue CC facing green, facing red, facing the ocean on the top of the screen here, completely open. You could just swoop in with Fighter Hornet and he's dead. Like, you've got enough fighters to kill all of the choppers, and maybe he can move his anti-air into position to intercept, but would it be in time to stop the CC from falling? Right, at that point, it is a race against time. Can you kill all of the Hornets before the Hornets can kill your CC? Of course, if you have missile turrets, that becomes a pretty easy task to do, as the longer the fight goes on, the more damage all of the units are taking, more or less, versus the more damage some of the units are taking, which means that you can start deleting them quickly. I should make a video at some point on just how valuable Splash is in this game. It's not just that the damage per shot is higher, but spreading the damage between different units is a valuable thing. Anyways, Blue's got a Deathball army. And he's looking ready to push. I think this is a bit of a fault of Yellow. He's got a whole bunch of fighters, but because he's got, what is that, 11 fighters and 4 Hornets, so what's that? 420 times 3. He's got 1,260 resources in the sky. And if you go and look at Blue's army, you might have the same, you might have a little bit less, but he's got more units. And most of Yellow's units are in the sky. Right? Yellow's probably got an army worth of about, I would say 17,000, considering the Navy ships and the 3 fighters over the aircraft carrier. But Blue's got a whole bunch of anti-air, and Yellow's army is mostly in the sky, so that's not going to work very well. Blue's also got helis, which are pretty good for diving CCs, so that you don't have to fight through everything around it first. Yellow's trying to patrol this choke with a destroyer and a battleship, but frankly it's just not working. Blue's just making anti-airs and helis, and he's getting ready to go hit this. Yeah, no, fighting the destroyer and the battleship is not the right call, but now, yeah, now he just goes for it. He does actually end up fighting the static and the fighters first, and he fights the fighters not in the right formation, so he ends up losing a whole bunch of helis before anything else happens. He realizes now, okay, wait, I've got a ball of anti-air, let's use it, and then the fighters start melting, and now if he just charges this CC, and makes sure that his helis are in the back, or at least that the fighters are getting shot at constantly by all this anti-air, then that's GG. And so, yeah. I do think Blue still ends up losing a whole bunch of stuff. He's got some tanks that that I remember finishing off this CC. But yeah, now he's got anti-air that are taking shots from the CC for his other units. He's got a couple helis in the sky, but the helis really aren't doing much. Got some heavy troopers. Yeah, and he's just whittling down the CC. He's moving his tanks in range now. And the CC it's dead. Not the cleanest kill in the world, but hey, it's a kill. And so Commandermonke ends up taking the game. Honestly, outside of the general passivity of the game, I do think that it was quite entertaining to watch. I hope it was quite entertaining for you to watch, and I hope that this commentary has been at least mildly entertaining as well. Thank you all very much for watching this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember, stay classy.